What's up everybody, Jason from Jason's Exotic Reptiles back at you with another video, and this is going to be an important topic because we're going to talk about the snake market. Are we actually doomed? And I think the short answer is maybe. Before we talk about is the snake market actually doomed, I want to show these two cool animals off. So these are a super hypo blood and you have a super hypo anery blood. So if you took the saturation out of this blood, you would get this guy right here. So super cool. Figured I'd just show those guys off as a good intro to is the snake market doomed? And short answer again, maybe. Why I say maybe is this is somewhat of a complicated situation we're in. Is we are coming out of this COVID era and the government gave us a whole bunch of spending money. Now, all these people had extra cash, they couldn't go on vacations, and they really were sitting at home with nothing to do. As a result of that, they looked towards what can I spend my money on, where can I get into a new hobby, what can I do to kill my time? And what they did was they got into reptiles. So a whole bunch of money got purged into the reptile market. This was great for the reptile industry because a whole bunch of people got interested in something that they may have never seen before, and they hyperinflated the market. So we're in this kind of perfect storm event where you had a whole bunch of people who got into the market during this peak. Animal prices were going up, animal sales were healthy and steady, and now we're in this point of the economy where things cost more, the government money isn't coming in anymore, and there's a whole bunch of babies available on the market. I don't necessarily think this is the end of the reptile market. Now, again, for certain species, things like ball pythons, you almost need to give these things away at the reptile expos. I see a lot of people doing 50% off, 75% off, buy one, get one free, buy one, get three free. There's all kinds of crazy sales happening. Now, overall, sales have slowed slightly. So pre-COVID, my sales are excellent. My sales are still excellent. So the reptile market is still strong and healthy, at least for boas. However, I do think there's a lot more people who are producing, which means there's more competition, more barriers to entry, and as a newer breeder, you're gonna really have to work hard to set yourself apart. So I think you need to get a little creative. You can't just expect to breed animals, post them up, and have them sell anymore. It may seem like this is the end of the reptile industry. However, people who have been around even before the 2008 housing crisis have realized that anytime the economy goes up and down, so don't reptile sales. We're just in a whole different ball game right now because we have all different avenues to sell things. Another important factor are the morph market auctions. Now, I don't think morph market auctions are necessarily good or bad. I think they are a temporary bump in the road for a lot of new breeders coming into things. I am still selling consistently without morph market options, but with some newer breeders, that might be their only option to get their name into the whole ring of reptile breeding, get some good reviews, and build a reputation. The nice thing about the auction is you can move the animals out quickly. The bad thing is that you are also selling your animal for way less than it should be getting sold for. Getting back to the main focus point of this video is that is the reptile market dead? I don't think so. However, it has slowed down significantly in certain species. And I think that is an important piece to recognize that if you're getting into reptile breeding and you want to be a reptile breeder, it's your passion. The barriers to entry are a little bit harder and you need to put in the work to do that. You need to make sure that you're a little bit different. You're marketing to a different client. You're actually marketing. You can open up, you can sell things, but you're never going to hit the peak of your business potential and you're never going to hit the peak of those reptile sales unless you do something a little bit extra. What a lot of people are doing are price chopping. That's a strategy. However, it's not a long-term strategy because you are still going to need to purchase animals to continue up with your breeding. You're going to still need to make sure that you're keeping up with the breeding that's happening and you're keeping up with the prices. The cost of rodents, the cost of electric, the cost of bedding is going to outprice you and you're going to always be at a negative profit. So you need to make sure your prices are where they should be and you are putting the effort into market and sell, creating that customer connection, creating that brand recognition, setting yourself aside from everybody else and setting them above, raising the bar above what the person at the table next to you at a reptile expo is going to be able to provide. And really, I don't think the market is dead for those people. If you just want to do the bare minimum, Post your animals up on Morph Market, go to a reptile show and sit behind your table the whole time. Don't do any type of branding. You don't have a banner, you don't have a sign, you don't have anything like that, then you're gonna probably struggle in the reptile market today. And for you, it's probably dead. But for people who are willing to put in the time, who want to make this their business, who really understand that their brand is themselves and they're representing their brand, they're going to be able to excel and they're going to be able to make a really good market for themselves. They could turn this into a very profitable business. You just need to be willing to put in the work. And I will come out and clearly tell you that there are a lot easier businesses to do this with. If you just want to turn this into a business, then don't do it with reptiles. If you just need a business, go start something else. Because reptiles, you really need to be passion first, and then everything else follows. And if you're passionate, you'll get people and you get customers who are willing to purchase from you just from that passion alone, as well as everything else that you represent. So it really needs to be this holistic, good customer service, good branding, getting yourself out there, willing to help the customers, as well as the animals that you purchase and the customer that you target. Talking a little bit about COVID times again, I don't want to harp on it, but it's such an essential piece of why we stand where we are in the reptile industry and hobby right now, is that a lot of people, once they got this money and they didn't have anything to do, a lot of them left or lost their job. And they went full speed ahead in reptiles. Now, when they had this money, they had extra cash, they weren't traveling, they bought these high-end reptiles, and they were almost sold this dream of, you can make a whole bunch of money selling reptiles. I can sell you it right now, is if you buy this $10,000 male, you can put it to 10 females, and if each female gives you 10 babies, and half of them are like that $10,000 male, it's made $500,000, if I did that math right. But either way, it doesn't matter. You can put this small investment of $10,000 and you can get this huge return back. That made sense. That was super appealing to a lot of people. But what happened is then they were resulting in a whole bunch of high dollar value babies. When they actually were successful in producing, they didn't focus on the branding, they didn't focus on the marketing. Now they have a bunch of these babies sitting around. They have these $50,000, $10,000 babies sitting there. And they don't know how to sell them because it's not moving. It wasn't as simple as the breeder who sold them that animal told them. You can't just buy that $10,000 animal, post it up, and it's gone. You needed to put in that work, and a lot of them didn't do that. And even if they did do that, to move 50 of those babies at $10,000 a piece is almost an impossible task, even for the most experienced, well-known breeders. So what they did is they started dropping the prices because they needed to set themselves apart. And then you run into this complication of, well, this animal is half price. This animal is a quarter of the price of what it would be from this well-known breeder. And they almost look past you because there could be something wrong with it. There has to be something wrong with it. Why am I going to get a $10,000 animal for $2,500? And they basically chipped away at their own market. They depreciated it, and to the point where their initial investment, they're struggling just to get that $10,000 back because they can't sell their animals. They're trying to drop their price. Maybe they've sold one or two at that discounted price. And this is that cycle where if you didn't get into this with passion, then you're going to be struggling to sell them, because I don't care if I don't sell my animals. One, I have the space. Two, I have the resources to contain these things. Three, I have the brand that I know over time they will sell. I gave that all what I had. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. So I would encourage you, just don't buy the dream, buy the passion, and then you could be successful. But a lot of those people didn't have that. They weren't explained that when they purchased these animals. They were just sold the dream without the explanation of how to build it. And that's the complicated part of our reptile hobby, especially if you want to become a breeder. These are living creatures. These are not something that's like a card where you can throw into a drawer, and if it doesn't sell for 10 years, it didn't cost you anything. This is something that needs regular, routine care. This needs food. This needs all these requirements that is different than selling a gold chain or selling a baseball card or some sneakers. These aren't collectibles. I almost don't like the term reptile collection because it's too easy. It instills the concept that we're collecting these things like Pokemon cards. These are living animals and they require that care component to it, and that's something that you could get burnt out with very quickly. So I don't want to talk you out of getting into the reptile hobby. But I do want to put a little bit of knowledge of why we are where we are. And if you do want to get into this and you are passionate, that's something that maybe this is something that's perfect for you. One thing that I remember from a recent show is there was a young kid and he came to our table and he knew everything about snakes. He knew every locale, and the snake he wanted was just a normal boa. And nothing made me happier than seeing this kid that was just so passionate about animals. His mother was trying to talk him into this $800 animal, but he liked this one that was $125. That was the one he wanted. He wanted that $125 animal because he wanted it for the right reasons. And he was willing to put in the work. He's willing to put in the care. And if that's you, if you're willing to put in the care and you're doing this from that standpoint of I love these animals and I just want to be interacting with them, then this is probably a hobby that you're going to do very well in. And if you eventually decide to turn it to a business, you're probably going to be successful because people will recognize that. So with that said, guys, I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. Let me know your thoughts down below. And until next video, let's keep it moving. Thanks, guys.